Hello, hi. Claire is gonna be a little late. She had to get some laundry done, which not surprising. Um, I also had to get laundry done, so that works out a little bit, I guess. But I got all that stuff in already. Um, ow, I scritched myself. Ow. Not surprised. I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm currently looking through to try and find some fun container um right now on Amazon. just for the meantime while I'm waiting for Claire. Um for my Cheetos. Because I have my Death by Candy jar that currently has raspberry cream Kit Kats in it and some Nerds clusters. Yummy. But food shirt, there we go. I love that, that's funny. Fuck off before coffee, that's funny. Cunty. Yep, me too. Sugar tits. It's a tea, coffee, and sugar trio. Here, I'll just share it. That's funny. Anyway. See if I can find anything else that might be fun. Oh, those are cute. Those would be so perfect for Valentine's Day, making some Valentine's Day cookies. Wait, how many come in a pack? 12. That's actually a really good deal. I might get those. You can get 48. Fuck yeah. That's gonna be our case. We're not going on that yet. That's gonna be Claire's case. Ooh, there we go. Oh, it's a seasonings box. Never mind. All the little gnomes. They're so cute. Oink for cookies. Very cute. All the fun things over on the side. Zero. Delete. Zero. That's funny. Oh, that's pretty. I like those. Oh, this one's got all the sass. I feel like that's very Cheetos energy. Yeah, that's got all the sass. That is so Cheetos energy. Like, who told you? Who told you? That's a UFO. That's adorable. And I say Cheetos because I got the extra hot flamin' ones. The extra flamin' hot crunchy. Yummy. So good. My vamping is going on longer than I expected I had to, but it's okay. Once Claire gets back here, I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna eat my Cheetos while she talks. I mean, me too, but me too, Fox. Me too. Oh, that's it. That's the one. Frankenstein. Fuck yeah. Like, that's cute, but Frankenstein? It makes sense for me. Do they have any related? Oh, they got Dracula! Oh, the little skull! See, this is what I was looking for. I should have just put cookie jar in. Hmm. I already have a pumpkin. Honeydukes. I'll get that later on in life. Probably. Oh, that's cute. Ice packs, reuse. Oh, the kitty on the computer. They're so cute. Burger. A burger. You know what? What is it? Oh gosh. Oops. Let's see. Shop accessories. Storage. I should get that. That high priestess one's really cute. Oh, little crystals and stuff. Oh, the mushrooms! If I want to get those, I'm just gonna go get them from Hobby Lobby down the road. I don't like how much this has me nailed down, that it's got all the witchy stuff. Oh, that's a scale! Oh, that's cool! Airtight tube. Odor-free proof. Which odor-proof bag? How odor-proof is it though? Because I don't believe. We're hanging out here, might as well. I have an 18 up rating on my thing for a reason. That is so gorgeous, the handymanship. Oh, the bonsai tree is so cute. That is me as a bong. Pickles. Yep. I mean, I feel like it might be E.T. because extraterrestrial, but like... These are so cute. I'm gonna get one of these eventually. One day. It's a goal of mine. Because it is genuinely so pretty. Because I especially want one of these. Oh my god, do I want one of those. Gold and purple. I want this one. I want that one specifically. Oh, that's pretty. Gives mermaid. Oh, the bowl's included. That's so cute. The frog. I don't have any stoner besties, or else I'd get the bestie one, but I don't have any stoner besties. All my besties don't really smoke. Hello, welcome, Claire.
Hi, hi.
I've been kind of just going through Canna style because I was bored.
All right.
Um, but I have your stuff all set. I chose a few random pictures.
Fair enough.
But if you're ready, I'm ready for you.
Not quite.
Okay.
I'm getting there. I'm just pulling up my notes essentially right now.
Steven got me a body armor.
Fun. Wednesdays are, my treat day for the family, so I generally do bubble tea. Unfortunately, I can't really have it with me downstairs because the kitten is
Chaotic?
Yeah, he likes to bite straws.
Chaotic.
Chaotic. Okay.
There we go. let's do this quick a second. I think I can go back here. Let's move this over just a little bit. Move that up a little bit so we can see his ugly face. I mean, see his face.
Fair enough.
I don't know anything about it, but I'm guessing, based on the fact he's in fucking handcuffs, it's not good.
Yeah. And we, of course, want to make sure I'm audible this time. Okay. All right. Well, good to know. So, today I am talking about Donald Henry Gaskins, otherwise known as Pee Wee Gaskins. Yeah. Really fun name, of course. So, uh,
I think it's the nose that sells it for me, the name.
yeah. His last name was originally Parrott, as in Parrott, but yeah, not exactly the best last name. Uh, um, so he was born in 1933 and was born in Florence County, South Carolina. He very quickly got his nickname Pee Wee because he was fairly small for, generally his age throughout his life. Small body frame, fairly light. Even when he became an adult, I think he only ever got to 130 pounds as an adult man,
So
and
petite
was
man.
5'5", 5'6". So, um, uh, so, unfortunately, when he was, born, he was not well taken care of. He was the last child out of a string of illegitimate children from his mother to Eula Parrott. Um, and his mother, I think, was, a call girl, essentially.
Mm.
Um, but because of that, and since he was the last child, he was fairly neglected. And unfortunately, he was abused by one of his male relatives. I believe it was his uncle. There should be either his stepfather or it was his uncle. I kind of got two reports for that. And this is really sad. To make it clear, this man did a lot of terrible things, but his upbringing definitely did not help. So, he didn't actually know his name was Donald until his first court appearance.
What?
Yeah, he didn't know his name was Donald until he was first in court. Before that, he just thought his name was Pee Wee because that was all anybody referred to him as.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Broski. Yikes. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Uh, so, um, generally, he had a lot of anger. So, when he was at school, he got into a lot of fights. Oh, the kitten is here.
The kitten has
And
come to join.
yeah, and generally speaking, like I said, his family didn't really care for him, so he was working at 11. He quit school, which since it was 1933 he could do,
Mm-hmm.
and began working at cars at a local garage. And while he was there, he met two other boys Danny and Marsh, they were all about the same age and all out of school, so they teamed up and called themselves the Trouble Trio. They went on to burglarize homes, pick up prostitutes, and here's where it starts getting really bad, start even sometimes rape little boys.
Oh, yuck.
Um, yeah, and they would, proceed to threaten the boys so they wouldn't go to the police. And then this is where obviously they make a mistake. So eventually they break up because they are caught for raping Marsh's little sister, which is one of the other boys' little sisters.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah. Apparently, for punishment, the boys got beat until they bled just by their parents.
Mm.
I don't think there were no criminal actions at that point in time. They did not go court, but either way, the other two boys, Danny and Marsh, left the area shortly after. So the trio went down to just being Donald. However, he continued to burglarize homes alone. This continued until 1946, when a girl who knew Donald interrupted him while he was burglarizing her home. And this is where you can kind of see, I guess, some of his mental state. Because what do you think he ends up doing, out of curiosity?
Well, I'm guessing that it escalates because it usually escalates from robbery and burglary to rape and eventually murder.
Yeah, not quite that bad, but he went from 0 to 100 fairly fast. So the girl was actually pretty good. She apparently picked up an axe and tried to hit him with it because, he was robbing her place. She felt unsafe. However, he managed to get away from her, proceeded to strike her in the head and arm with it before fleeing the scene.
Oh,
Luckily, she survived.
good.
So Donald was arrested and convicted for assault with a deadly weapon and intent to kill. And this is when he learned out his real name. So they don't tell. Let's see. These. Nope. Soren. So at that point in time, he's only 13 years old. Soren.
He was wait. He's. This isn't 2 years.
Yes, this is in 2 years. Because he was born in 1933, and this happened in 1946.
Yeesh, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So when he goes to court, they can't charge him as an adult. Mm-hmm. What happens instead is that he is sentenced essentially to go to South Carolina Industrial School for Boys. And so, one of those schools where they try to make you all prim and proper and teach you the error of your ways. Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to be there until 18, and he's 13 at this point.
Ooh.
So, as soon as he gets there...
5 years? He doesn't seem like the type to want to stick around for 5 years.
Well, yes. But even more so, it's partially because as soon as he gets there, he's immediately attacked and raped himself due to his small stature. So apparently, while he was there, he exchanged sex to what was known as the boss boy, so the boy in charge, for protection. Mm-hmm. Until eventually he got tired of it and tried to escape. I think he was 16 at the time of his escape. And essentially what happened is he actually joined up with a traveling carnival for a period of time. During this time, he married a 13-year-old girl. But eventually he gets tired. He decides to go back to the reform school and finish out his sentence.
He said, yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. Generally speaking, his luck with women is not very good. What happens next is he finishes his, sentence essentially. Um, when he gets out, he's 18. It's 1951. Um, and what he Soren. Oh, hey,
Oh no! What's going on?
he's got sharp kitten claws.
Attack of the kitten, I guess.
Yeah, he just latched onto my leg. It's okay.
Ow.
Yeah. As soon as he gets out, he goes and starts working on a tobacco farm. And while he's there, he gets involved in insurance fraud. This man has a long rap sheet. I'm just going to say that right now, okay?
I'm glad I chose a shorter case this week.
Yeah, mine is longer. Maybe we should also start saying that when we tell each other what cases we're doing. Is like, hey, mine's going to be longer.
I mean, I can tell you exactly if you want to have a meeting at the end of the month kind of thing before the beginning of the next month kind of do that. We could certainly do that.
We'll see.
Because I know you usually pick like the day before, but I've been trying to pick like a month in advance, and I already started picking ones for February, where I'm gonna
Fair
go
enough.
with a couples theme. That I'm gonna pick out killer couples.
Well, I'm doing a little bit better. I'm finding them generally 2-3 days ahead of time because I've got a little more time with my new job.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, all right. Back to it. So he gets involved in insurance fraud. Essentially, how this worked is he worked with a partner and collaborated with other local tobacco farmers, and essentially he burnt their barns down for a fee. The farmers would, collect their insurance for liability. However, you can only burn so many barns before, people start,
Getting
thinking
suspicious?
something is
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah. So when his employer's daughter actually questioned him about the barn fires, can you guess what he did?
He birched another barn.
No, but, he overreacted, panicked, and split the girl's skull with a hammer in hand.
Oh.
Thankfully, she also survived.
Yeah, good.
But for this, he received a 5-year sentence in prison for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder. And this time, because he was 18, they could charge him as an adult.
Yeah.
So, this is when he actually becomes a murderer. So, while he is at the prison, do I have the name of the prison? I feel like I should. Where is it? Maybe it doesn't say. Oh well, I thought it did. So, oh no, there it is. South Carolina Penitentiary is where he's sent.
Oh.
And essentially, as is common these times, there's someone as the top dog. So Gaskin earns his fellow inmates' respect by killing the most feared man in the prison, Hazel Brazel, and he claims it was self-defense. Was it? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
But either way, this made him fairly untouchable in the prison, because, if you beat top dog, you become top dog. But because of that, he is able to live more comfortably, not have to worry as much. And during this time, you know how he married a 13-year-old girl a while back? It's finally now in 1955 that his wife filed for divorce. Gaskin flipped out and escaped from prison, apparently on the back of a trash truck. So
wild! The fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, this man is not one for small measures in general.
I guess fucking not. Jesus. He said extremes. Yes, I will do extremes.
But either way, ooh, ouch! No. So he flipped out, escaped from prison. Did not go to hurt his wife. However, what he did do was got remarried. But this marriage lasted only 2 weeks. Uh,
Mm.
and he's still technically escaped from prison, so the police are looking for him at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So when he becomes involved with another woman, Betty Gates, apparently what happens is the two go to Tennessee to bail out Gates' brother. But surprise, surprise, when they arrive there, Gates finds out that, or not Gates, Gaskin finds out that Gates' brother is actually her husband and had recently escaped himself. So
Wow.
the police arrive at the hotel and, you know, realize that they've got escaped convicts on their hand. So what happens is he's sent back to prison for an extra 9 months for aiding the escape of a prisoner. You know, not for escaping himself, but for aiding another prisoner to escape. So,
Nice.
yeah, the man lived a semi-wild life.
Sounds like very, to be honest. He's gone to some extremes.
Mm-hmm. So he then stays in prison until 1961 when it does get paroled out. And upon being released from prison, he, immediately goes back to committing crimes. So he goes back to his kind of, Soren, sweet Jesus. My leg hurts. Okay. Please.
Why is he
Soren.
trying to clamber onto you? Does he think you're a cat tree all of a sudden?
No, my legs are just in the way, I think. I'm trying to distract him with the string toy, but it's only semi-working.
Mm.
Okay, so he goes back to committing burglaries and fencing the stolen property. And apparently he avoided arrest for a while by working with a traveling minister as his driver. And yes, I said traveling minister.
Praise
so
Jesus. Praise Jesus.
So because of this, he was able to move town to town fairly easily.
Without much notice.
Yeah, without much notice. So, it's only 2 years later? 1 to 2 years later, where he's arrested again. This time for the statutory rape of a 12-year-old girl.
Gross.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he escaped in a stolen car. And then he goes all the way to North Carolina, meets a 17-year-old girl whom he proceeds to marry.
Because she's technically legal.
Yeah. However, she eventually turns him into the police for statutory rape as well. And it doesn't say if that's because he did it to another girl or if it's for, the previous sentence that he ran away from. Either way, he, gets charged to 8 years of imprisonment. Did that last? No. He's paroled again in 1968.
Nice.
Yeah. And upon being released, he swears he's never going to come back again. Ever. But, what they say about if wishes were fishes.
No, actually, please elaborate on that. What?
If wishes were fishes, then no one would be hungry.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Get out of here, naughty boy. I also have to deal with the cat, I guess. He's been obsessed with cords lately and tried to just chomp upon my headphones.
That is unfortunate. Okay. So, he moved back to South Carolina in the town of Sumter and began working for a roofing company. And that's kind of like just the general buildup, because he then proceeds to start, killing people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about his hypothesized murders first that he claims he's done, but have
Okay.
never been proven, and like a lot of people doubt, but no one can be sure.
Yeah.
So he's caught, obviously. But he does write a memoir before he dies. And he claims essentially to have, while traveling, basically, while traveling, he picks up hitchhikers, takes them out to remote places, and,
Chic.
Kill, rape, torture them to varying degrees, and would just bury their bodies in those
Okay,
remote
but what
places.
order is it? And was he also necrophile, or was it just rape and then he would kill?
Not necrophilia. However, he did say that sometimes he would cannibalize some of them,
Oh, God.
or and sometimes even make them eat themselves. But this is all stuff he says he did, and is never
Gross.
proven.
Gross.
Yeah, yeah. So these kind of murders, he calls them coastal kills, and kind of what he refers to people he killed purely for pleasure, apparently on average once every 6 weeks, when he went hunting to quell his feelings of bothersomeness.
You know another way that we can quell those feelings of bothersomeness? Taking a nice walk and not touching anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Keep your
no,
hands to your fucking self, motherfucker.
yeah. So generally, he claims to have killed 80 to 90 people this way. But, again, never proven. He does name like 3 people specifically who he kind of classifies as serious murders. Again, these people are not proven, but 2 of them are an African American couple that he named as Eddie and Bertie Brown, that he murdered in 1972 and buried behind the Tenet House, which, he never pinpointed the location. And a man named Horace Jones, who he said to have murdered in 1974.
Has anybody ever, like, since then gone back into that property kind of thing now that we have more advanced technology you know of? To see if there
He
was a
never.
body?
Well, he never says where the Tenet House is the thing. He never
Oh!
gives. Ah! The kitten is also using me as a springboard. Okay. But so essentially, when people kind of decide historically is that the only people he officially killed that they can prove is, of course, Hazel Brazel, that, first man in the jail he was
Prison
in.
yard, yeah.
Yeah, and then 14 others who I'm going to go ahead and talk about next.
Okay.
And these are people that they have been able to get bodies for, have been found, have been identified, and that Gaskins' sworn testimony can actually substantiate. Like, these are the people he had proven to killed. So, and all of these murders do happen fairly consecutively. So he really kind of goes on a bit of a spree. So,
jeez.
to start out with, we're going to start in November 1970. And the last time we heard from him was in 1968. So he waited 2 years again.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, his first confirmed true murder, and he does murder only people he actively knows. He's technically considered a serial murderer just because he has enough, people in his kill count,
In
but
his
he's
repertoire?
not in his repertoire, but he's not a real serial killer. He doesn't have a type. He doesn't have a specific way of killing. He's just killing.
He's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, I guess the way. Yeah,
Thank you,
you'll see.
Bubby.
I didn't grab any of the extras. I was gonna grab because I'll just go back tomorrow.
Okay.
Uh,
Steven's not
Okay.
feeling well. Sorry. Continue.
You're fine. So, to start us off, in November 1970, the people he, first confirms to have killed is Janice Kirby, who is his niece, age 15, and her friend Patricia Ann Alsbrook, age 17, both of whom he beat to death. What he claims is he was enraged by their drug abuse. However, most people who knew them say that actually he was attempting to sexually assault them. They fought back. He got angry and killed them instead.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah, so that's his first two, official confirmed kills. His next victim happens in 1971 or 1972. It is not super clear, unfortunately. But this one is actually cool in a history standpoint, and you'll see why. This one is that Gaskin claims to have poisoned Martha Ann Dix Jr., who was also known as Clyde, who was 20.
Is it Bonnie and Clyde?
Well, no, not that Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a woman. Martha Ann Dix Jr. is a woman, but she went by Clyde.
I was
I'm
just
sure-
very confused.
I'm sure it wasn't because she, just for nickname purposes, because the reasons that are kind of given for why he killed her is because either there's apparently either because of the rumor Pee-wee was the father of her unborn child, or out of revenge because she was an alleged drug dealer who supplied Kirby and Alsbrook, again, his niece and her friend,
Mm-hmm.
or because she got married and left for Texas to be with her wife.
Oh. Oh,
Mhm.
so he's a homophobic piece of shit. Okay.
Yeah. But you've got to remember, this is 1970 now.
So
it's
there
not
was
the
just a
most-
lot more of them at the time.
But yeah, I know. Based on the fact that Martha chose to be referred to as Clyde, it's believed that was probably, transgender,
Mm-hmm.
or at the very least,
Gender non-conforming.
yeah, fluid in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and she was known to have messed around with men sometimes, but she generally dated only women. Either way, unfortunately, her bones were found in a ditch, but were lost when they were given to a university to study. But yeah, so probably homophobic. Also, generally a racist. So
I kind of
his
guessed
next
that from
murder-
earlier too.
Yeah, in 1973, he goes on to rape and drown Doreen Hope Dempsey, who's 22, and her 2-year-old daughter, Robin Michelle Dempsey. in June 1973. So this one is because Gaskin had befriended Doreen Dempsey several years prior, and was angry upon hearing that she had become pregnant a second time with an African American man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not that she herself was African American, that she had gotten pregnant by an African American man.
Yep.
So when she came to
Because they wouldn't let you love who you loved.
yeah, so when she came to his home, because the thing is, before this time, Gaskin was apparently a very good friend to her. So she came to ask him for, a little bit of help if she could stay with him for a short while she was pregnant. He got angry when finding out it was to an African American man, and apparently this was not her first biracial child. This was her second. So Robin was also conceived with an African American man. But yeah, no. So he proceeds to rape her and takes her to the backyard pond of his house and drowns both the mother and her daughter, which is a toddler, might I add, because yeah, not pleasant.
So technically 3, because she did want to keep the child.
Yeah, technically 3, but it's weird when sometimes a baby gets considered in a kill count, sometimes it's not. I think this was technically a fairly, early in the pregnancy, so not really, conceivable. Either way, a year later, in June 1974, Gaskin kills his next victim with a gun. And this is a friend of his and a criminal associate, Johnny Sellers, who's 36. And he does this execution style in the back of the head. He also goes on to stab Johnny's ex-girlfriend, Jessie Ruth Judy, because Sellers apparently asked for money he was owed from the sale of a stolen boat. But Gaskin fears that Sellers would have revealed Gaskin's involvement in the boat theft and sale, and that's why he killed him. Jessie was murdered at the same time because she could have also told the police about Gaskin's criminal activities, including murdering her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. You'll see very quickly that he kills a lot of people in paranoia. But like that's kind of like you can see that kind of develop over time. Is like obviously he's just one for immediately escalating. Because if you remember, in the 2 assaults that he is originally charged for with both of those girls, where he didn't kill them, but he did 0 to 100 very fast.
He didn't. He. There was no in between.
Yeah, there is no in between. So next is 1975, and this is by far his most prolific year of killing people. So to start off, he kills Silas Barnwell Yates, who's 45, in February of 1975, by slitting his throat in a murder-for-hire scheme. Forensics showed it was a knife. Gaskin disputed this, saying it was done by karate chop.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Was your karate chop attached to a knife?
So, and as you can remember, I said a murder-for-hire scheme. So he had apparently been hired by Yates's ex-girlfriend because they were in a dispute over money. And apparently her husband and her paid Gaskins about $1,500 to murder Yates, so they wouldn't have to pay Yates anything. The next person he kills is Diane Bellamy Neely, who was separated from her husband Walter Neely. And Walter Neely was one of Gaskin's closest friends and a criminal co-conspirator. He kills her on April 10th by stabbing her to death. And here's the weird thing. Apparently she had a boyfriend also, while being married. Yeah, you know how it goes. Either way,
Well, hell yeah. If it's not girly, what you doing?
but either way, so he stabs Diane to death and then shoots her boyfriend dead. So Avery Leroy Howard is her boyfriend. Apparently this was done because Diane had threatened to report to the police that Gaskin was allowing underage teenagers to have sex in his home. Avery was murdered because he asked for money to pay attorneys and cover legal expenses following his arrest for fraud and auto theft, as well as being worried that Avery would tell police about Gaskin's criminal activities. I'm sure you can see the pattern.
Yeah.
Now, he kills a lot of people because he's afraid they're going to tell on him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now in 1975, his kill count is up to 3. We're not done yet, though. The next person he kills is Kim Gaskins, who's only 13. And this is done by stabbing her to death to keep her from telling police that Gaskins had kidnapped her from North Charleston, along with, being sexually abused by several people, including Gaskins. Very sad. But yeah, the next people are Dennis Bellamy, and this is Dennis Bellamy, who's 27, and then John Henry Knight, who's 15. So they are half brothers, and Diane Bellamy, who was one of his earlier kills in this year, was their sister. And apparently Gaskins shot both of the brothers like within minutes of each other, in the back of the head in October. So at this point in time, no one knew that he had killed Diane. I'm not sure what exactly was said had happened to her at this point in time. She might have just been missing. But essentially, Gaskin had promised to pay Dennis for some stolen guns. When they met up at Gaskin's trailer home in Prospect, South Carolina, he responded by offering to return the guns from the woods behind his home. He took Bellamy into the woods to retrieve the guns, but killed him instead. When his younger brother came along, John Henry Knight, he was dragged to the same area, allegedly to meet his brother, but then was also murdered, once again to ensure that they couldn't speak about the crimes that had been being committed. So, altogether, in 1975, he manages to kill 6 people out of his confirmed 14.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is by far his most prolific year. He then kind of cools off for a little while, but that's mostly because he is arrested, in 1975, because he killed a lot of people. They finally figured that out.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. So he's finally arrested in 1975 on November 14th. Because Walter Neely, who, was the husband to Diane Bellamy Neely, acknowledged that, yeah, Gaskins probably killed my wife.
Yeah.
And then also killed the other Bellamy children. And
gotta love it.
And then this is done because Neely confesses to the police that Gaskin had apparently confided in him that he had killed several people listed as missing during the previous 5 years, and had actually indicated to him where they were buried. So on December 4th, Neely led the police to a patch of land near Gaskin's home, where the police discovered the bodies of 8 of his victims. So yeah, they are able to very quickly say, "Oh yeah, you totally did this."
Yeah.
um, um, he does go on to kill one more person while he is in jail. Okay, actually, let me back up first. Ooh, ow. Ah! Okay, so during his, last trial, he is tried only on one charge of murder, and is found guilty very quickly. And they originally sentenced him to death, but was later committed to life in prison instead. When apparently South Carolina's General Assembly in 1974 ruled on capital punishment, which was changed to conform to the U.S. Supreme Council guidelines for the death penalty in other states.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a lesser sentence because, generally speaking, the death penalty is considered fairly serious and, to be treated only in very serious cases. This is also, 1970s, 1980s, where it's not common to actually do the death sentence for white men. It still happens quite a bit for African American men. But yeah, so he's in prison for life at this point. There's very little, if any, chance of him being paroled. Finally, thank God. But he does go on to kill one more person. In 1982, he kills Rudolph Tyner. Oh, nope, Soren. Sorry. Have a kitten. Goes on to kill Rudolph Tyner, who was on death row himself. And Rudolph Tyner was in prison for a double murder.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was apparently African American. So, again, that kind of differentiation, that's unfair. But yes.
Can I just say something that's been bothering me this entire time?
Jesus Christ. Sure.
This guy right here behind him looks like Dylan would if he had mutton chops.
Oh, God.
It's true!
Okay, now that you say it, I can see it. Darn. You've put that in my head now. You have put that in my head. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Don't know who this guy is, but he looks like him. Maybe we're friends with a time travel. We just don't know it yet because he hasn't got that mustache yet.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. All right. So this is by far one of his craziest murders. His last murder. So what happens is Tyner was apparently appealing his own death sentence after being convicted for robbing a Merle's Inlet, which was, a store back then, and killing the store owners, who were a couple, Bill and Myrtle Moon. What happened was that the Moon's son, Tony, hired Gaskins for about $2,000 to kill Rudolph Tyner, because, the son, didn't want his parents' murderer getting out on parole. But apparently, what happened is Tony asked Gaskins what he needed to kill Tyner. Gaskins told him to insert some C4 inside the heel of a shoe and mail it to him. C4.
Uh-huh.
So.
A kaboom.
Yeah, so Gaskins manages to obtain plastic explosives with a blasting cap, a long wire, and a radio speaker to create an imitation intercom speaker. And he tells Tyner, apparently their cells were fairly close together, that, oh yeah, we can communicate between ourselves with this. So when Tyner takes it back to a cell and gets, tries it out, puts it to his ear,
Kaboom.
Gaskin detonates the makeshift bomb by plugging the wire into a prison cell power outlet.
Nice.
Yeah,
Not
C4.
nice, but
Yeah. Like, generally speaking, impressive way to kill someone. And for getting yourself C4.
In prison.
In prison. Yeah. So, due to this murder, he's, they finally go ahead and, give him the death sentence. Again. Yeah.
They're like, nah, actually, he's a piece of shit. Let's go.
Yeah, no. He's given this death sentence again for this. Like, people are fully aware. No, he should not be just given, prison and life.
Prison and life. Life in prison?
Life in prison. And generally, it's this murder which gives him the title Meanest Man in America.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because of the way he killed or something, but
maybe.
Either way, he's finally put on death row again, and and this was the first time in history that South Carolina was sentenced to death for the murder of a black man. Sad. Yeah. Sad, but the man used C4. I don't...
It's impressive thinking for somebody who's so fucked up they can't think of, a better solution. It's a little
I think
too dark, but like...
I think he wanted to be, like, infamous. He wanted to be known.
Yeah.
Because that's why probably he, says he did 80 to 90 coastal murders.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, during his time on death row, he goes on to write a memoir. But he is finally killed in 1991 on September 6th. And apparently his last words are this: "I'll let my lawyers talk for me. I'm ready to go."
Okay then. Sounds like they should have had him stick around a little longer anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you don't get to decide that, we get to decide that.
Yeah. Generally speaking, he did not have a good childhood, but very much not a good man. Probably,
a
some
bad
type of
childhood never warrants murder.
Yeah. Generally, probably some type of psychopathy.
Psychopathy?
Psychopathy, thank you.
Okay.
Or at least, like, extreme paranoia because of the amount of people he killed. Worried they were going to snitch on him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so his official kill count comes to 14.
Unofficial 80 to 90 in his little fucked up brain.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people do think he was just trying to be known as infamous, just pulling numbers out of his ass.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot. I think we're going to do a little bitty break. Because I do have some stuff from work. I got delicata cookies. That looks like it was put in a new wrap. We got some new white ones instead of the brown. So now we got some white filters and white papers. I'm guessing they're trying to figure out which wrap they want to use before they change it over. Because our a company is going to be doing something really cute for Valentine's Day. We're going to do little bouquets of joints. It's like, romance for stoners.
Have fun. So in my case, work-wise, we have meetings every Tuesday for my team.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, sometime in March, we're going to be getting 500 liters of a sample to test. Liters. 500 liters. So a lot.
Uh-huh. Of...
And you know test vials, right? They're measured in milliliters to microliters.
Oh,
So
fun!
We have to aliquot all of that.
What?
Aliquot? Essentially, we have to, just make small little test tubes of the sample.
Oh,
So
fun.
this is in March. So, our manager has basically said, it's going to be all hands on deck for a week.
Fun. And then my other one's an infused one, so we got a little bit of seepage going on that I'm not real impressed with personally, but that's because I'm gonna be picky. It's my job. Literally, it's part of my job. But yeah, the packaging's kind of boring and stuff, so. They still haven't started using anything that might be cool by some cool artist, but we don't know yet. Anyway, but let's get back to my thing. It's a shorter one. We're going to be talking about the Michigan Dogman. Because of course! Legend has it that there is a half dog, half man roaming around the northern part of the lower peninsula. There are old theories from native tribes and stuff that used to live up in that area that it might be a possible flesh pedestrian. You can decipher what the real name is from there, but I want to be respectful to that community.
I'm sorry. That's just a very funny way to refer to someone of that profession.
Yeah.
Flesh pedestrian.
We can thank Morbid for that. And whoever it was in their story did that, because they were like, this is what we call them, kind of thing.
Just that's such a name for that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's believed to be about 7 feet tall. However, there's a story later that I'll get into that he might be closer to 9 feet tall. He has the head of a dog and in a man's torso, but the pictures that I could find were very werewolf, and that's basically it looks like he's werewolf, but he's more human than wolf kind of thing, and he has more thought behind his eyes, is what the general consensus is. However, the consensus is not 100% one way or another what color his eyes are. They are either bright blue or they are a very bright amber. And then, probably one of the scariest things, it has a human-like howl. One of the first entries, or one of the first documented times that they could find about this, was in 1857, when a Comstock resident mentioned in his diary that he had seen a half-human, half-gray wolf creature in the woods when he had gone out hunting. And then in 1887 was the next one, and that was in Wexford County. It was spotted by a couple of lumberjacks when they had gone out to work and stuff.
Okay.
And then they didn't say a thing about it until years later when somebody else confirmed that, hey, I saw something like that too. Because they were like, fucking no, I ain't saying that. I'm gonna get sent to a psych ward. Fuck that shit, no.
Yeah. That's how it be.
Yeah, but in 1917, a sheriff was out walking and he found a four-horse carriage
Okay.
where it had giant claw marks on it, and it didn't have the horses anywhere nearby, or at least not until he looked into the ditch next to him, where he found four mangled horse bodies that looked like they had been torn apart by one giant wolf.
Hmm.
Yeah. The next one was in 1938 when a man was fishing by the Muskegon River. He was attacked by a pack of wolves. They started coming at him, and because he was fishing and stuff, he had his rifle with him, just for protection kind of thing, because bears are known to be up there kind of thing. And he
Yeah.
shot he did a shot up into the sky kind of thing just to ward him off, with sound, didn't want to actually hurt the animals. But after he shot that shot off, all except for one of the wolves ran away, and the one that didn't run away stood up on its hind legs before running away, and as it was standing up on its hind legs, he realized that he was standing up on more human hind legs than they were wolf hind legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it ended up running away anyway. This is the one where he said that they were a shocking bright blue. And that's why
Okay.
he took so much note of it.
All right.
Um, I don't personally like to say it. Steven doesn't mind saying it, but I don't personally like to say it. The Ottawa tribes of that area also thought that maybe it was a Wendigo or a
Ooh.
Wendigo. A
Ooh.
French
That's
explorer. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of terrifying, but I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. That's distinctly worse if it's Wendigo.
Yeah. The French explorers that had run into him when they were doing their explorings called him Loup Garou, which is just like the big gray wolf, basically. And then in 1967, he harassed a van full of hippies near Cross Village while they were camping out in a nearby um, campsite close to the woods kind of thing. In which, when I looked into what harassed a bunch of hippies was, it was that they got probably scared the shit out of them because something came up to their tent and they probably had been doing mushrooms or something. But hey, it was the 60s.
It was the 60s.
In the late 1980s, it didn't say specifically where, but there were tracks discovered up in that area. But we don't know what happened. And then in 1987, a radio DJ named Steve Cook from Traverse City wrote, recorded, and released The Legend, a song about the Dogman. It was released on April 1st as an April Fool's prank, which he played it on the radio kind of thing to freak people out.
What a choice.
Yeah, yeah. He ended up about 60K of his profits that came from that he donated to animal rescue charities and local to his area, so like it went to a good source.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're going to do an April Fool's show, just all the proceeds go to shelter pets.
Yeah.
Pretty good way of doing it, I guess.
After the song was released, there was this huge spike in sightings. But it used to be, as you heard the 7, it used to be that it would be every 10 years on a 7 that it would be that he would all of a sudden be around. So we got like 3 years. We're safe for right now. Um, but the last time that he was spotted was actually in June of 2017, just after we had graduated.
Oh,
uh,
fun.
Joe Barger was a truck driver, and he was driving through the Manistee National Forest. While he was driving, he realized one of his back tires was losing air, kind of thing, and he's like, "Oh, this is something I probably quickly fix, get out, fix, get it done, get back on the road. So he pulled off into this little like ravine turnaround area kind of thing to go fix it quick a second. Got out of his vehicle, started fixing it, started working on it. And while he was working on it, he heard a growl and he was like, the fuck is that? Took mental note of it, but continued trying to fix his truck because he's like, I gotta get this shit done if that's a wild animal. And then there was another growl, and he's like, fuck that shit, I'm out. And he went and ran into his truck, thinking that maybe it was like a giant black bear, because you don't want to fuck with black bears.
Yeah.
But this man's, because it was June and stuff, he had his windows down. And it was not a black bear he saw at the window, but a giant tuft of fur that was starting to come up next to his window when he started to fucking pull the fuck out of there. And he ended up seeing a wolf head that ended up running right next to his car. And it looked like the head was actually ducking down, as in it was taller than even the carriage, which is 7 feet tall, of this truck. So it's theorized that he's closer to 8 or 9 feet based on how much he was crouching down. I'm more liable, or I'm more amped to believe his statement at least a little bit, because he was like, I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at, and then like 2 years later he was describing it to this YouTuber that you can go look at his thing. It's over on YouTube. I can't believe I didn't write it down. I'll put a link out there. But he was like, so do you think that might have been? And he was like, what? And then they were like, well, if I would have known what I was messing with, I wouldn't have fucked around like I did. Because he had his windows down and like his...
Yeah, no, I was gonna make that comment of like, hey, if
Yeah.
really big and growling at you, I would put whatever amount of like
Protection you can up.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know, our windows are generally speaking fairly resistant to most things.
Yeah. But after everything was said and done kind of thing. Oh no, the truck was about 9 feet tall. So no, it's closer to like 10 feet.
Ah, yes.
Even scarier. But yeah, later on when he got going down the road, he was finally able to actually stop and, at a safe distance kind of thing. When he went to look at the other side of his truck, he had found that there were giant scratch marks on the door where it looked like the thing had been trying to grab onto the door to go along with it. Yeah. When it was all of like 15-20 seconds that he saw this animal, but he could tell that it was like a wolf's head with bright glowing amber gold eyes, black fur, and he said there was some sort of intelligence behind the eyes kind of thing. Like he could tell that there was some sort of thought process going on in this animal's head of how can I get in this cab to get that snack. That human, I take it, yummy. But he ended up getting away and stuff. Funnily enough, this morning, or I should say this afternoon, because it was technically afternoon, when I had brought up what I was going to be doing for my case to somebody who's actually local to that up there area, it was, we don't talk about that. I was like, what do you mean you don't talk about that? We don't talk about him. With just like fear, I was like, oh, okay, I guess we do not talk about that. But like, we got another 3 years. We're safe for now. She's like, we don't talk about that.
Well, no, if in that case, that kind of reaction is like, that's someone who knows more than like the general populace.
Yeah. But I I just found it funny that it was like right after we graduated. He's like, "Hi guys, how's it going? I'm looking for a truck with a snack in it."